Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm your host, Tony Perkins. Glad to have you with us. The website, TonyPerkins.com. All right, you'll remember us talking about this a number of times a few years back. Then Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, she's now Senator Blackburn, she chaired a House Select panel on infant lives. This is actually when the Republicans were in the majority. And this was looking into Planned Parenthood and their trafficking in baby body parts. Well, as a result of this extensive investigation, criminal referrals were made to the Department of Justice regarding some of these entities that were involved. What came of it? Well, that's a question about 60 members of Congress are asking. Joining me now to talk about this, Congressman Ralph Norman, who represents the 5th District of South Carolina. He led this congressional effort in communicating with the Department of Justice and asking the U.S. Attorney General for an update on this investigation into Planned Parenthood. Congressman, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Glad to be here, Tony. Appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you, sir. Tell our listeners the details of this letter and what you're trying to find out.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, Tony, what this involves is the trafficking of body parts that Planned Parenthood is selling, and it dates back to 2015. You had the Center for American Progress, who had released some undercover videos that exposed the sale of the fetal tissue. It was investigated by the House Select Investigative Panel on Infant Lives that Senator Blackburn was a part of, and it had the Senate Judiciary Committee. You had over 15 criminal referrals or cases sent to the DOJ to ask about how about investigating this. You had another request in 2016. In April of 2017, the Senate Judiciary Committee sent a follow-up letter to the DOJ and just saying, where are we? What's been done? On top of that, they've got records that show the director of the Dorothy Ferguson, who's the director of Planned Parenthood, Monty, which is basically just Planned Parenthood, making a deal with STEM Express to buy fetal body parts, and they profited over $250,000. And what spurred all this was, and I'm a member of the caucus here that Chris Smith has on trying to stop this type of activity. But a video that the Center for American Progress did on May 26th of this year, which again we hadn't seen, but it's selling body parts. So all we're asking William Barr to do, the Attorney General, is to investigate this, give us an update, and see where we are with it. Because this dates back to 2015. And Tony, get this. Planned Parenthood applied for $80 million of taxpayers' dollars in the CARES Act, which they qualified for, which is outrageous. You just don't have this kind of thing. So anyway, that's why 66 congressmen signed on, and we're going to get some answers one way or another.
I would certainly think that under this Department of Administration that they would pay attention to this. And I think it is extremely egregious that here's an organization that already gets about $500 million a year in taxpayer money, cashing in for another $80 million under the Paycheck Protection Program while they're under investigation for the trafficking in human body parts. I mean, that's outrageous.
Well, not only is it outrageous, they have no shame. I hated to see the ruling that came down yesterday in Louisiana. It's time to fight, and it's time to call these people out. And I think, thank God, William Barr will put this on the priority list. Again, it's been going on for the last 5 years. And I, along with all the congressmen who signed this letter, we deserve some answers, and it needs to be a priority. And we need to know where we are, where we stand, and we're not going to quit until we find out.
Congressman, before I let you go, anything our listeners can do to help out?
Yeah, one thing I've learned from my time in being in Congress is the best activity that the voters can do is contact their congressman. If this doesn't get your blood pressure rolling or boiling, then call your congressman. I don't care who the congressman is. Call him and tell him this needs some answers, and let their voices be heard.
All right. We appreciate you taking the lead on this, Congressman Norman, and thanks so much for joining us. And I look forward to an update from you when you hear back from the Attorney General.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.